Why does our kindness sometimes turn into a curse? Why do those whom we help from the bottom of our hearts become not grateful, but demanding? And most importantly, how does it happen that the most responsive people end up exhausted and offended at the whole world? Imagine a gardener who loves his plants so much that he waters them every day, even when the soil is still moist. He thinks he is showing care, but the roots begin to rot from excess moisture. The same thing happens with our kindness. Excessive care can destroy what we are trying to grow. Today we will examine one of the most insidious traps of human relationships, the trap of incorrect compassion. This trap works like quicksand. The more we try to pull another out, the deeper we sink ourselves. So, the first truth of our world sounds paradoxical, but relentless. There are people with a big, generous heart, true emotional donors of humanity. They are ready to not sleep at night, to forget about their own needs, just to make others a little happier. It seems logical and natural to them. Give a person what he asks for, and he will certainly become grateful and joyful. But imagine that you give a child a complex musical instrument when he has not yet learned to hold a pencil correctly, or you give car keys to someone who cannot drive. What will happen? In the best case, the instrument will gather dust in a corner. In the worst case, it can cause harm. What actually happens in relationships? Remember the fairy tale about the golden fish? This story is not just a children's fantasy, but a deep metaphor of human nature. Gave a tub, they ask for a house. Gave a house, they demand a palace. And now instead of gratitude, complaints sound, and the kind person wonders, what went wrong? The problem is that the person is simply not ready to accept, truly possess, and correctly use what is given to him. It's as if you were trying to pour water into a glass with a leaky bottom. No matter how much you pour, it will never fill. And an immature personality is just such a leaky glass. Each new gift only increases appetite, but does not bring saturation. The second truth, the universe as a wise teacher. It is even deeper and concerns the very structure of the world. There is enough of everything in the world for everyone, but only to the extent that a person is truly ready to have it. This works like a law of physics. You cannot lift a barbell weighing 100 kilograms. If your muscles are ready for only 50, this means that all our sufferings, anxieties, feelings of lack, this is not accident and not injustice of fate. These are precise instruments of the universe that push us toward growth, toward finding our own path. Pain is a signal that something needs to be changed, as temperature signals illness. Of course, it would be wonderful if parents taught us to be happy in childhood, gave us a ready treasure map called How to Live Joyfully. But this could only be taught by those who themselves mastered the art of happy living. And many of our parents never grasped this wisdom. They themselves wandered in the labyrinth of life, passing on to us not answers, but their questions and fears. And we have to learn independently, like chicks, learning to fly, at first clumsily flapping wings. First we seek happiness in material goods. We think that a new car, apartment, or gadget will bring long-awaited satisfaction, but having received what we desired, we discover that joy does not last long. Like fireworks, it flashes brightly and quickly fades. Then, in spiritual experiences, meditations, personal growth trainings. But this also turns out to be only temporary relief. Like painkillers, it removes the symptom, but does not cure the cause. Neither one nor the other gives genuine joy. And when we give a person what he worries about, we deprive him of the most important meetings with his real self. We think we are alleviating his suffering, but in fact we act like a parent who does homework for a child. We seem to help, but we deprive of the opportunity to learn. We violate the natural course of his development. We give something untimely, without his readiness to accept. And here the third, most important truth opens up. The one who gives out of pity, to alleviate others' suffering, actually does not understand the value of another person's state. He looks at another's pain through the prism of his own fear. How bad it would be for me in his place. And the universe, like a wise but strict teacher, gives him a lesson. He himself falls into the same state. to feel its meaning from within. It's as if a doctor who had never been sick suddenly became ill with the same disease he treats. Only then will he truly understand his patients. This is the trap of compassion. From the brightest motives, we commit an action that develops in another greed, infantilism, unwillingness to take responsibility for his life. And in ourselves, resentment and exhaustion grow, like in a source from which too much is taken, but nothing is given in return. Incorrect giving breeds not love and gratitude, but people convinced of their own helplessness. We create emotional dependents who get used to receiving but not giving. And when our strength runs out, we find ourselves in the same pit of the needy from which we tried to pull others. Protective mechanisms exist. Let us consider resentment as a teacher. Resentment comes as a protective mechanism. It is like an automatic fuse in an electrical network that cuts off power during overload. It blocks the incorrect flow of giving, teaches us to value our own resource, and lack of strength is simply a consequence of unbalanced relationships, like exhaustion of soil from which only harvest is taken, but which is not fertilized. Imagine a bank account from which money is constantly withdrawn, but never deposited. Sooner or later, it will be zeroed out. The same thing happens with our emotional resources. What is the path to true compassion? There is a way out of this vicious circle. When we recover and come into balance again, it is important to understand the principles of true compassion. Begin to respect people's states as they are, as a gardener respects the natural rhythm of plant growth. Balanced relationships are built on mutual respect and harmonious exchange, as in dance, where each partner sometimes leads, sometimes follows. Important is not the generosity of the gift, but the value and attention invested in what we share, and readiness to receive something equivalent in return, not necessarily material, but energetically proportionate. Any state is correct for the person who is in it. This does not mean indifference. This means trust in the wisdom of life. One should not think, how bad it would be for me in his place. This is pity, agreement that the person is in an unjust situation, and this is already distrust of the higher law that leads each person on his unique path. Now let us examine practical principles of wise compassion. Help is needed when asked. As a doctor treats one who came to an appointment and does not run through the streets, grabbing passers-by and trying to treat them, using skills to inspire and add clarity, so that the person himself finds a way out and begins to act, but never do for him what he must do himself. As a trainer does not run instead of an athlete, but shows correct technique. True compassion does not strive to ease or change something. It is born from wisdom and understanding. To help truly is possible only in one way: to learn to be happy yourself and live in harmony with the world. And then naturally a way will be found to inspire others to happiness. As a lit candle lights others without losing its flame, it is possible and necessary to help, but only when asked and ready to give something in return, when they begin to apply what was received, as a student applies the teacher's knowledge, when it is necessary to inspire in time, tell the right story, help believe in oneself again, as a guide shows the road, but does not carry the traveler on himself. Help is needed by teaching important skills. After all, if we give fish, we feed once, and if we give a fishing rod, we provide for life. But even better, to teach not just to catch fish, but to understand the river, feel its rhythm, know the habits of fish. Then the person will become not just a fisherman, but a master who himself can teach others. Be wiser in your compassion. Remember, true kindness does not hurry to ease another's pain, but helps a person become stronger through this pain, as a blacksmith helps metal become stronger through fire. Real compassion is not tears over another's misfortune, but calm confidence that each person is capable of finding his path to happiness. And our task is not to carry him in our arms, but to shine a flashlight for him in darkness, helping him see his own road. If you have questions on this topic or your own reflections, be sure to share them in comments. I will answer everyone, and subscription will help you receive new materials and become a co participant in our common process of learning the wisdom of relationships.